Darnell Smith, a.k.a. Big
Yo,
Smitty.
what is up?
Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Hey, so I see Smitty.
I'm loving the energy, first of all. That's how you introduce Big Smitty on your show.
That's what I'm talking about. I feel like when you got a nickname like Big Smitty, bro, that's not even hard.
Hey, real quick, where did that come from? Where did the Big Smitty come from?
Well, obviously, last name is Smith.
Right.
You know, if your last name is Smith, Smitty's always a popular thing. My defensive coordinator in high school, shout out to Coach Tutsy, started calling me Smitty, and it started to stick. All my teammates, all my close friends called me Smitty. And then obviously, as I'm getting bigger in the weight room, and I'm going to college. Now I'm like 285, all muscle, solid.
Shit.
That's when the big got added.
Okay.
Fair enough.
I was just Smitty. Now I'm Big Smitty.
Oh, okay. All right,
yeah, shout out. I did some homework on you, man. Shout out Warren Central.
Come on now.
Yeah.
I got some.
What you got, man?
I thought I had a little helmet here. I would have brought it and showed you. But
you're too big, man. You're too big.
Forget about the little people out there.
Shout out, of course, Ball State, man. Played there for a couple years. Looks like you were leading sacker for a couple of years there, right?
Chirp, man. Listen, I'm not one to brag. I am an all-conference player, all academic.
Hell yeah.
Captain of the team, played the 2 ball games, pictures on the weight room.
What?
But that's it.
My man's flexing right now. My man's flexing right now. He wasn't flexing, but now he's flexing.
Brag. And then now, of course, you got a lot going on. You got the Porch Podcast. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the Porch Podcast, man, shout out to my co-host and good friend, Ryan, a.k.a. Bolo Jones. He was actually one of my teammates at Ball State.
Okay.
He was a dog, too. Played safety from Chicago. We started that actually even before I really got deep into the entertainment space, before I moved out to L.A. And it was just an opportunity for us to, like, have just authentic conversations about, you know, topics and more in the cultural space, you know, whether it's just pop culture, music, anything trending online. And we oftentimes bring on special guests and from all walks of life. We had athletes, actors, entertainers, people in the adult film space, whoever you may be doing, we're open to all of it, and we bring them on the court. So.
AKA the ratings.
Yeah.
AKA the ratings. And then now, of course, the Coach JB show with Big Smitty. How did you get hooked up with JB? And listen, man, I always thought you were an LA dude. When I watched you guys, I always thought, like, because you talk like your Instagram stories, you're always cruising around LA. Then today I found out you're from Indy.
Come on now, I'm a Midwest guy through and through, born and raised, Indianapolis. Shout out to Naptown, 317 Far East Side. Okay. But I've been in LA for about 7 years now, and this is my new home. I don't plan on leaving. But yeah, JB. So JB. So one of my 9 to 5, I work at Fox Sports. So my previous show years ago was called Speak for Yourself, where Marcellus Wiley and Jason Whitlock co-host. So right around when Last Chance U was still popping, Coach JB came on as a guest. I think we might have met once real brief, and that was the end of that. Years later, obviously, you know, pandemic hit, and Marcellus is having like a birthday party for his wife in Hollywood. And I get invited, JB gets invited, and, you know, we meet up, we're talking. Again, not even talking about the show, just kind of getting to know each other. Fast forward again, like another 6 months, and JB follows me on everything. It's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. And then he ends up DMing me. He's like, hey, man, I just got done talking to Marcellus. He says that, you know, he's not for sure what your schedule's like right now, but I'm looking for a new co-host for my show. You know, this, that, and the third. We talked for a minute. We met up, went to Yard House, had some food, sat there for hours, talked about the game plan. Yeah. And I said, you know what, let's do it. And now it's been been almost 2 years now, and we've just been grinding away. We've built this thing up. I think when I hopped on, it was at maybe like 30-ish thousand subscribers, maybe even.
You're around 60 now, right?
Now we're at 60.
Yeah.
You know, so we're rolling.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. If you guys don't follow the Coach JB show with Big Smitty, go follow it. You'll be thoroughly entertained.
Yeah, it's entertainment to the max. You guys are great. It's awesome. When I wake up, you know, like on my Instagram feed, some wild shit's being said. Yeah, love it.
Yeah, I gotta put the kids away though. My wife said when you guys come on, the kids are allowed in the room.
You never know what's gonna happen on our show.
You really don't. Yeah.
Even I don't know.
Hey, bro. Sometimes, real talk though. Sometimes I feel like if you guys were in the same room, might be some furniture moving. Might be like sometimes it gets intense, bro.
Some misunderstandings up in there.
We've had some. I mean, you guys remember we were in person in our studio for a little while. We had like a popular scene where men were going back and forth. I don't know if it was a Tyreek Hill debate. it was something we had. But at the end of the day, JB, like, as men, we can get loud and be passionate, but understand, like, it's all just passion. It's nothing serious. That's my guy. I'm his guy. And us having that football background, we're so used to loud environments that the yelling and stuff doesn't really do anything. So I'm used to that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's just the tip of the iceberg, what this man's involved in, producing, all sorts of behind-the-scenes stuff. So all that to say, man, once again, we appreciate you being on the show with us. We got a couple of NFL questions for you, if that's okay.
Let's dive into it.
All right, let's jump into it, man. Obviously, the championship round just wrapped up, and even before that, divisional round, I got two guys I want to ask you about. That's Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. Two guys that just seem to same old with them. Where do you go from here if you're those two guys and their teams? Are we just running it back? Are we just bowing down and kissing the ring over in Kansas City? What do we do?
Well, I'm going to start in Buffalo. If I'm Buffalo, I do think there's some room for improvement, specifically on the offensive side. They shout to Jim and James Cook. I think he really, hit his stride this year. So I think they're good at the running back position. Obviously, Josh Allen has the quarterback position on lock, but he can use some help at the wide out position. I think having, a threat, a real threat on the outside can truly open up that offense even more and provide even more running lanes for both Josh Allen and James Cook. And a guy that comes to my mind, I'll say two guys. One, T. Higgins, if the Bengals can't find a way to pay him. But number two, Tyreek Hill. I don't think Tyreek Hill's going back to Miami. You guys remember that last game of the season? He took himself out and pretty much said he wasn't coming back. I mean, in a nutshell, in his press conference. Imagine Tyreek Hill with Josh Allen in that offense. That would be scary. So I think Buffalo needs a wide out. Now, Baltimore, maybe some help on the defense, but the defense started to roll later on in that season. So it's hard to even stay there. I mean, I would say if they had a top-tier edge rusher to just truly make huge impact, I think that would be a good get. Maybe somebody from the draft or if there's somebody that they could possibly pick up from free agency. Other than that, man, I think Derrick Henry's going to be good for another year or two. Lamar's in his peak prime. Dave Flowers, a top-tier wide receiver. You got Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, two of the top tight ends. I think when it comes to the Ravens, they have to be at their best when it matters the most.
Right.
And that starts with Lamar Jackson and also funnels down throughout the rest of the team. I still to this day feel like the Ravens is the best team in the AFC.
Oh.
They just don't put it all together when it matters the most, and that's why I get so frustrated.
Right.
So you're saying that the Buffalo Bills need like a Stephon Diggs type of elite playmaker? You're saying so? I feel like we're just doing the whole thing again. Well, so let's get Tyree.
That's a question I was going to ask too. Like, do you think that ended up hurting him at the end, not having Stephon Diggs or someone like that?
I mean, I honestly think so. I mean, listen, we all know, man, that wide receivers can be divas. A lot of your star players sometimes can be a headache, but you need them too.
Yeah.
Right? Let's be real. Like you need those guys. Now listen, Patrick Mahomes is an outlier. He's just winning. Like whoever you put out there, he's gonna find a way. Tom Brady was the same way. But outside of those cats, everybody else who wins championships, they got guys. So I just think that Stephon and Josh Allen, what they had was beautiful. They both helped each other out. Stephon had career years. Josh Allen had career years. So I'm not saying Stephon Diggs specifically should have stayed.
Yeah.
But I do think he needs some sort of 1A type of
presence.
guy. And Tyreek's a dog. I think Tyreek Hill, he doesn't cause a lot of issues really on the field. I think he would be perfect fit.
Well, while we're on the topic of the Buffalo Bills and Baltimore Ravens, I've been hard on the head coaches for not being able to get over that hump. What would you do as far as how much time would you give them more on top of they're already 8+ years? These head coaches, John Harbaugh and McDermott. How much longer would you give them, or is it their fault, or how would you do the head coach? Because I'm on the side of they've done the best that they can. This is the highest that they can go.
This dude wants to fire him.
No, because it's the same thing year after year after year. And there has to be some kind of change, and you're not going to get rid of these quarterbacks. So my thing is get rid of the coaches and try to get a new vibe, a new culture in there. Where are you with that?
That's risky, man, because these teams are reaching high levels of success. You got to think the last 2 years, both Buffalo and Baltimore has both been in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
Both a touchdown or a couple plays away from actually winning the game. So it's not like they're far off. My question for you is, if you let go of Sean McDermott, you let go of John Harbaugh, who are you bringing in?
Mm-hmm.
That's the question.
I mean,
the grass isn't always greener on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, we just had a Vrabel. Vrabel would have done great both sides. We just had a Pete Carroll there. So guys, it's a different type of.
I mean, wasn't Vrabel doing the? It was the same thing happened in Vrabel.
But it's just a different type of voice in there. And look, how much more can you give this Baltimore team? You just said that the Baltimore Ravens had the best roster in the NFL, and this head coach hasn't gotten the best out of this best roster. So something's got to give it. We're wasting Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen years. And
tell him, man. This dude wants everyone's heads wants to roll.
Well, if you want to, you have to change it up. You have to do something different. Stephon Diggs leaving wasn't good enough.
Darnell, it sounds like you would more err to let's keep running it back and just keep trying to climb that mountain.
That's where I'm at, man. Listen, winning a Super Bowl and even getting there is extremely hard to do, and I think us sometimes as fans or analysts, we get so caught in this the stardom of the players, of the quarterbacks, and we get lost in this feeling well, they got everything they need. They should be in the Super Bowl. It should be that easy. No, it's not. It's extremely hard to do. There's so many factors, injuries. I mean, we haven't even brought up the fact that Lamar's number one receiver, Zay Flowers, was out for the entirety of the playoffs. We just brushed that over like that didn't have any impact. It definitely did. Zay Flowers is a baller. He would have definitely made some plays in the playoffs in that game. It's not about making excuses, but I'm saying when it comes to coaching, they can only do so much.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's about Jimmys and Joes, not X's and O's. I started from JV, but I think that is real. The players got to go out there and play. And unfortunately for both Buffalo and Baltimore, they're running into the Patrick Mahomes era. It takes you back to the NBA and the Michael Jordan era. Think about it. There's so many players that just didn't win championships just because they kept running into Jordan. Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, a couple names that comes to mind. Sometimes you're just in the wrong era. And I'm not saying it's over for those guys. They're still young. Peyton Manning took forever to get his first. I'm a Colts fan, obviously. Peyton Manning is my favorite quarterback of all time.
Yeah.
Year after year after year, it was something. Either the defense or Peyton Manning just folds in the playoffs or couldn't get past Tom Brady. But at some point, they finally got through.
Right.
They kept Tony Dungy as the head coach, kept rolling, and they finally got through. So I think Harbaugh and McDermott are both really two of our top coaches in the league right now. I don't think it'll get better just to go get somebody else.
Let's talk about someone who did make it through. That's my boy. I'm an Eagles fan, man. Jalen Hurts, my guy in his second Super Bowl in his young career. And I was fishing on your all's page, man, and I found something that you said, a list that you gave that kind of pissed me off, Darnell. I don't get it, man. I don't get you and a lot of people like you. You ranked the remaining quarterbacks in the championship round, right? And first you had Patrick Mahomes. Then you had Jaden Daniels at number 2. You had you had Josh Allen first.
Yeah, Josh Allen.
And then Jaden Daniels, and then Patrick Mahomes. And way down at 4th, man, you have Jalen Hurts, number 4. Let me ask you right now. Has seeing him head-to-head against Jaden Daniels, has that swayed you at all? Are you still good with your ranking?
I feel great about my ranking. I feel amazing.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Put Jalen Hurts on Washington and put Jaden Daniels on Eagles, and they match up. I think the Eagles, same thing happened. Jaden didn't play bad. Jaden did not play bad. They had the game was close. It was 12-14. Then it was 23-34. It was a good game. Every time Washington got momentum, turnover on special teams. Receiver fumbles the ball. It just at some point, and every time the Eagles scored on those situations. So listen, I like Jalen Hurts. I like his I think his leadership. I like how hard he works. I like the fact that he is a winner. I can't take that away from him, whether it's in college, at Bama, Oklahoma, and Philly. He's a winner. He has those intangibles that you can't really coach up. But we're keeping it all the way 1,000, keeping it real.
Yeah.
Talent-wise, he's all right.
Oh my God, bro. Oh my God.
But he's not in the same breath as a Josh Allen, a Lamar Jackson, a Joe Burrow, a Patrick Mahomes.
He's been more Super Bowls than Josh Allen, man. Come on, give him something. Give him something. Josh Allen has never seen Super Bowl in his lifetime. He's in the NFC.
But I also say this: Jalen Hurts is on the NFC.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to run into Patrick Mahomes, that killer. That's the problem. You don't think if just hypothetically, if Josh Allen, the Bills was on the NFC team, that they wouldn't have at least made the Super Bowl at least one year?
I know.
They probably would. It's Mahomes. He can't be Mahomes. That's it.
Yeah. I mean,
so that's what I like Jalen Hurts though, and I just think it's hard to put him in that tier 1 level because my eyes work. You know, I see what I see, and it's like form isn't super big. He's inconsistent on his accuracy and his timing. There's a reason why this team is a defense and heavy run team. That's their strength. Now, last week he played well. He had a lot of short field situations, though, that was beneficial. He took advantage of it. Credit to him. We need to see him do that now, though. Forget all that. It's the biggest game of the world.
We've seen him do it. I don't know, man. We've seen him do it in the Super Bowl, first of all, against Patrick Mahomes, against the Chiefs, against Spagnuolo, all that. And then I can't get past, man, head to head with Daniels, and I get they're facing very different defenses, so that's some context. But I mean, he outplayed him. And it wasn't all short yardage stuff. I think of the fourth down throw to AJ Brown down. I'm in a bucket, my guy, and then multiple times. Do
you think that the tush push hurts his reputation, that he's only known as like a gimmicky running?
Not.
No, because
that's stupid as hell.
I feel like people think that. People think that because he does the tush push so much, it like gets away from everything else that he does well. Because people know him as like the engineer of the tush push. Does that affect his reputation at all?
I don't know if it hurts his reputation. I do think it kind of devalues his stats a little bit. Because I'm not exactly sure what the exact number was, but he had like 15 rushing touchdowns this season? It's somewhere in that ballpark. You guys can correct me. 18?
I think so. I want to say 18. Check
it's whatever. It's in the team. So my point is like, but when you get the context, it's like, well, he's just leaning forward for 18 times. It's kind of like it's not the exact same as.
Listen,
hold on, that lean forward. I haven't seen.
I only played in high school, man. You played in college, my guy. You played in college. You know they ain't no damn lean. He's digging that out, man. Ask Frankie Louvu.
They do it though is like flawless. No one.
Yeah, they got it.
The scheme, the O line. There's nothing you can do with the D lineman. There's nothing you can do. You saw Louvu kept diving over the top, just trying to time the thing out. Nothing you can do to stop it. So I mean, listen, I like Jalen. I promise you, I do. I'm not trying to attack Jalen. I just think we got to be honest. So, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You put him in the same bucket as like Josh Allen, Lamar, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow?
Yeah, I did a ranking today because I knew I was going to ask you this question. I wanted to make sure I knew where I was. I have him as a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. I have Mahomes. Joe Burrow is my number 2. And Joe Burrow number 2. Josh Allen number 3. Lamar Jackson's number 4. And Jalen Hurts, two Super Bowls. Just does what's asked of him.
Does a winning quarterback not mean anything to people? He goes to Super Bowls.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. He beat the Ravens, Bills, and who's the other AFC team?
Oh, this year? Oh, well, a lot of teams.
Bills last year, Chiefs last year, Ravens this year.
My guy just wins, man.
I hear you, man. Hold on, did Jalen beat him or did Saquon beat him? I didn't hear you correctly.
No.
Who do you think transfers the ball, man? Who transfers the ball? You know what I'm saying? Like,
who says hike?
All right, I want to move on here. So you guys talk a lot of Colorado, obviously, man. So I can't think of a better person to ask this next question. Go ahead.
All right. Just because there's gonna be so much talk this year with the draft and Shedeur Sanders. If you needed a quarterback, say Washington or one of the teams, top 5,
Tennessee.
top 10. If you needed a quarterback, would you trade the future for Shedeur Sanders, Carson Beck, Ward?
Is he that dude?
Or is there one of these guys in this draft?
Man, I'm gonna be real with you. Y'all know I'm a Deion supporter. I support Shedeur and the Sanders, but I don't think this draft has any quarterback that I'm willing to risk my future for. I'm gonna be honest.
There you go.
Now that doesn't mean that they won't turn out to be something.
Right.
I mean, we see that happens all the time, right? Where quarterbacks will surprise us. I'm just saying, with the evidence that we currently have, there's no sign of any of these quarterbacks, whether it's Cam Ward, Shedeur, Jackson Dart. Any of these guys have shown me that, oh, this is a guaranteed lock. Now, you guys probably remember, like, when Andrew Luck was coming out of college,
right.
He knew for a fact.
Right.
He that's the real deal.
Yeah.
We don't have those in this draft right now. They got to show me. I think system's going to matter tremendously for Shedeur. I think he's going to need some good support from an O-line standpoint because he holds the damn ball too long, and he has to change that too, or he's going to get killed in the next level.
Ask Caleb Williams.
Having a strong running game, exactly.
Yeah.
Having a strong running game will help. So, I made the argument that I think Cleveland would be a decent fit for him. I know people hate Cleveland and they think it's cursed, but having a good, strong running game, solid O-line, you know what I'm saying, they can use some help on the wide outside for sure, but he has a strong defense. Hopefully Myles Garrett stays there a little longer. I think he will have some success there, but there's no lock.
Yeah, do you think he's a good fit with the number overall pick, Tennessee Titans? Do you think that's a good fit for him? They have shaky O-line, okay run games, not a lot out there as far as talent. Like, do you think that's a decent fit?
I think it's okay. I think it's okay. It's not my number one. It's not my number one choice because of the reason you just listed. Like you said, their O-line's kind of shaky. It's like everything's just okay.
Yeah,
right. You know what I'm saying? Like there's nothing. And I guess when you get drafted this high, that's just what it is. You're going to be on a team that's not that good. You know what I'm saying? So it's just tough. It's tough, man. I don't want to put him in a position where they're putting the full load on Shedeur to change the entirety of the franchise. Now, I'm not sure if he's that guy. Now, with Tennessee, though, the benefit is that they're in a bad division in the AFC South. So, like, you know, even if he goes there, let's say he's able to just muster up 9 wins, that might be enough to win the division.
It might, yeah.
So, it's just, you know, that's the thing. So,
last thing I got for you, man. Super Bowl's in, less than 2 weeks now. I need to get a prediction from you.
Oh, man. All week long, I've just been thinking and kind of going back and forth. I think the Eagles are better in like every position except quarterback. But Jalen Hurts is still good and can be better than Mahomes on one day, like you said we've seen before. The Eagles should win. Like, all logic says they should win.
Here we go.
But you're not going to pick them up.
But the problem is the game is going to be close.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a blowout.
Right.
We know that.
Right.
And when the game is close and Andy Reid and Mahomes is on that field, for some reason, whether it's a bad call, whether it's just some crazy play, like something always goes in the Chiefs' favor to where they end up winning.
I wish you weren't right.
I'm rooting for the Eagles.
Let's go.
Like, it's anybody but the Chiefs. I'm going home. I'm a Jalen Hurts fan all week.
There we go.
Yeah.
But if I'm putting aside my bias, it's hard to go against the Chiefs. Until I see somebody beat them, I can't see it.
I feel like that's kind of everyone's sentiment is that you want the Eagles.
They're pulling for Jalen, but their money's on the Chiefs.
But then the Chiefs are get the ball with 1:27 to go, and you're gonna know what's gonna happen. Yeah.
All right, man.
Like the Eagles need to be up by like 10, 12 points with like a minute.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
For me to feel like, okay, the game is over. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, man, well, we appreciate you, man, spending some time with us, talking a little ball.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on. Go check out the Coach JB Show with Big Smitty, the Porch Podcast. Just go follow us, man. Just put up all sorts of content all around the globe. Thanks, Smitty.
Hey.
Sorry, appreciate y'all, man. Y'all have a good one.
Take it easy, man. Take it
Bye.
easy.